Looking to get away? Yeah, 2022 has proven to be a good year for travel agents, with 40% of travelers spending more on travel this year than they were before the pandemic. And over the next decade, the Labor Department estimates a 20% increase in the travel agent industry.
Yeah, it's quite the increase. Fox Carolina's Arthur Mondale crunched the numbers on why more people are turning to the professionals.
Made it happen.
Benjamin Robertson is still in the clouds.
From the flight to the accommodation.
After a trip to the eastern Caribbean island of Barbados for his 60th birthday with 20 guests.
I wanted everybody to be satisfied. I wanted everybody to be happy.
He travels 3 to 4 times a year internationally.
Germany, Italy, the Czech Republic.
A lot of memories, just like a nightmare trip he'd rather forget.
I spent about $1,500 extra because I did not use a travel agent.
They met you at the airport, you got to the hotel. How about the room?
Deborah Metcalf is the owner of Travel Agents International, an agency that specializes in international travel.
It definitely is a process.
A process that more travelers have recognized.
It's crazy in this day and age not to use a travel agent for your travel needs.
A recent study from the American Society of Travel Advisors finds 48% of people say the expertise of an agent puts them more at ease, and 38% are concerned with the hassles of international travel.
Who are you going to call?
Travel agents say COVID restrictions, now relaxed in most countries, forever change the future of travel.
Every day, a country could come out with a new rule.
Not only do travelers have to worry about what to pack, but what to prepare. Items like e-visas and COVID insurance are now part of a process for many countries, making for ever-changing travel policies.
Yes, our agent alerted us, everybody who was going by email and text on a daily basis on any changes.
And to the agents, that's what the job is all about.
We have done our job.
Arthur Mondale, Fox Carolina News.